I was born into an atheist family in a country of devout Christians, and out of all the religions, I know the most about this one. Growing up with a sense of rebellious religious conflict with my surroundings allowed me to objectively and rationally evaluate the spiritual value of that religion. Undergoing the psychedelic teachings of metaphysical entities made this evaluation complete, and in this video I'll tell you what comparably Christianity has to offer in light of the psychedelic wisdom I received, where it makes no sense, where it is of value to us, and I'll answer the most troubling question of all, related to my interdimensional communication. First, I would like to ask you to support 434 financially through joining Patreon or Subscribestar, or by donating through PayPal, CashApp, bank transfer, or Bitcoin. Also, if you want to talk to me, I want to let you know I started a consultation and support service, and you'll find all links in the video description. Thank you. In almost 2 years of me making videos on this channel, there's one comment that will just not go away. And that's, what do machine elves say about Jesus? To answer it once and for all, machine elves are not afraid of the word Jesus as some of you have implied. They have no problem with us using the name Jesus or any other God name when communicating with them, and it appears that for them it's just a human phrase. From what I was shown, God and the energy are two difficult and important concepts to be contained in one word. Even when I asked, is this God, when I saw the energy, they seemed to be amused by the question and said, yes, you humans call it God. You call it many names. You're it, you're made of it, you're a part of it. Keep in mind that it's very likely that Jesus is just a concept and we don't even know if that person really existed. We have a hard time clarifying and understanding things that happened only 20 years ago, let alone events from 2,000 years ago. I think we can all agree that some history distortion is highly likely to have happened in this area. The fact is that the true nature of Christian religion is debatable. There are several theories, and according to them, Christianity was either a result of true events that took place 2,000 years ago, or Christianity was a religion of love and peace that was later corrupted by the Vatican as a tool to exploit and control people. There's also a theory that this religion was invented to create another social reset, to destroy highly technologically advanced societies, and to introduce a new type of social order, and that it was used to enslave people and make them obedient. Whatever the truth is, Christianity is the world's biggest religion, and although slowly in decline in the Western world, it still shapes the minds of billions of people. Like every religion, Christianity has its rules that are usually accepted in their entirety by its followers, and for me personally, it's always interesting to see how religious people don't really question what it is that they're being made to do and believe in. And some of it seems to be highly detrimental to personal development and spiritual progress. Here are my problems with Christianity. I'll start from different types of Christians. We have Orthodox, Protestant, and Roman Catholics, which indicates differences in the apprehension of Christian religion. The universal 434 values are clear, simple, and leave no room for interpretation and ideological division. Christian religion wants you to believe that in order to reach enlightenment, you must strictly follow its rules, and if you don't, you'll be punished. It imposes a doctrine of obedience and closed-mindedness. This stands in a big contrast to the metaphysical methods of achieving enlightenment that encourage you to free yourself from any form of emotional and mental limitations, to do all the thinking for yourself in order to avoid intellectual deception and oppression. Then there's the big difference between interpretation of evil by church and what machine elves told me about evil's nature. Christianity is all about the darkness always attempting to overtake the light, and it's all about the battle of good and evil. But the definition I received from the entity says that evil in reality is just a different type of experience, and that evil is a human concept. I'm still not sure if I fully agree with this, but it's possible that the Christian religion might be right in seeing Satan trying to take over the world, and that I could agree with. What I don't agree with is the concept of eternal hell, and this is something that has never been revealed or explained to me in my communication. Even the concept of something being eternal seems very human, as nothing has ever been shown to me without having an end, and the concept of time has no place in other dimensions. The closest you can get to the Christian idea of hell is by disrespecting the sacred psychedelic medicine and by doing heroic doses without prior knowledge and preparation, but even that will effectively become a valuable lesson. Christianity would want you to believe that you were created in the image of God. This is nothing further from the truth according to the messages I received from machine elves. Human body is a temporary form, and understanding this will help you solve many spiritual issues that you develop throughout your life. Human body, although a beautiful creation, is a primitive vessel created for our remote consciousness. It not only pales in comparison to the highly complex divine alien forms we encounter in the psychedelic dimensions, but also it is much inferior to many simple animal bodies here on Earth. This awareness should help you develop a humble attitude towards life and the environment we live in. One of the most outrageous concepts in Christianity for me personally is that without exception, every single person comes to this world as a sinner and is burdened with the overwhelming sense of guilt for the rest of their life. If we're made in God's image, wouldn't it indicate that the God himself is a sinner? That lack of logic in these earthly religions is one of the reasons why I was an atheist for almost 30 years of my life. The entities make it clear in almost every message that your purpose here is to overcome and liberate yourself from low-frequency shackles of self-imposed earthly vices like fear, shame, and guilt. It is the exact opposite of what the church uses to control their followers. There is no path to fulfillment in this life without confidence, self-pride, and courage. There's also the issue of every Christian being in the desperate need of salvation and the need to beg for God's grace. This religion wants you to believe that you needed to be saved by God. In reality, the entities made it clear that there's nothing to be saved from and that you are the creator of your life. If there's anything you feel that you need salvation from, you're responsible for taking care of it yourself. Your life belongs to you and you're in charge of it. It also appears that the church wants you to believe in a very moody, needy, and a possessive God. Apparently, when God returns, he'll judge everyone, but before that happens, you're not allowed to worship and believe in any other gods. If that wasn't enough, you're not even allowed to make images of God that can be worshipped or say his name for no reason. There's also the constant requirement to sacrifice something, and regular offerings need to be made to God in various forms. Christianity wants you to believe that you're privately owned by God and that you're his sheep, and for anyone with any sense of freedom and independence, this one sentence should be a big red flag. Every psychedelic message I receive puts a huge emphasis on empowering you through your strength and independence and the fact that you belong only to yourself. Also, intellectual freedom seems to be heavily limited by the doctrines of Christianity, and it expects you to blindly obey and worship God. The psychedelic entities want you to use your logic, and they are big proponents of rational and intelligent thinking. Your job is to question reality and find the truth about everything you're a part of. Christianity also propagates the idea that everyone here is equal. While very noble, this somewhat naive concept has very little to do with reality. Machine elves showed me that those who occupy this physical earthly realm are divided into the original inhabitants of this dimension, so-called quote-mark humans, and a small minority of open-minded visitors from other dimensions. These two groups have very little in common, and this distinction is clearly visible to most 434 viewers, and it doesn't need to be explained. It is also a requirement to live modestly or even in poverty according to church's teachings. It's such a backward concept that even Christian priests have a problem following it, and they're supposed to be the role models for their believers. Psychedelic messages are filled with reassuring statements that you're supposed to become the best version of yourself while being in the service to others. In fact, if you have the necessary tools and conditions, it's your responsibility to create wealth for yourself and others. Christianity also has a big problem with temptations, and it wants you to abstain from engaging in any form of bodily pleasures. Machine elves want humans to take advantage of the earthly joys, and they want you to use them to get yourself closer to 434 states and the energy. The psychedelic message is, pleasure is good and is necessary. Like in every religion, there's the whole issue of bizarre phenomena that cannot be explained logically. The cult of Jesus is one of them, a man who we can't confirm ever existed. Stories of him having supernatural powers, dying and resurrecting all seem to be too difficult to be reasonably accepted. Then there's the Trinity, God being simultaneously the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit. This one I could never understand and accept. Also these bizarre clothes, strange buildings, and scary rituals like eating flesh and blood in form of bread and wine. All of those make Christianity, unnecessarily in my opinion, a very questionable belief system. But let's talk now about the similarities between Christian religion and what Machine elves explained to me about the truth of our earthly reality. Christians understand and accept the fact that there is a higher power and that there is force bigger than us in the world. To me, as an atheist, it was a relief to learn that this indeed is true after I met the energy/God. This human religion also accepts the fact that God is omnipresent and that he is the creator and the true ruler of everything and everyone. The values of love, joy, and hope seem to be universally acknowledged by Christians, and these are the same values that I learned in my psychedelic communication to be the foundation of our human life. In fact, if you replace the word God in the Bible with love or the energy, you will very often learn the same values that machine elves have been teaching me for years. Church also puts a lot of emphasis on letting God lead you and on your need to follow God's will. In the same sense, the psychedelic entities made it clear that the energy is the governing force in this dimension and that we need to learn its lessons and observe its subtle signals and communication attempts that steer us in the right direction. There are the 10 commandments that represent the most basic rules for decent and cooperative existence in society, and similarly to what machine elves told me about the purpose of this existence, they want you to fill your life with good deeds and with being of value and service to others. The commandment to love your neighbor even had a very specific visualization in one of my contacts, and I was shown that creating a mutually beneficial support structure with your neighbors activates the metaphysical mechanisms responsible for the development of this reality. One of the most loving things a Christian can do for somebody else is to point them towards the values and principles described by the Bible. In the same way, I was told by machine elves that 434 is not just my responsibility, but that it's a set of values that we should be spreading throughout the world collectively, by any means necessary. Also, as the Bible is an important manuscript for every Christian, it appears that the set of truths and values transmitted to us from another dimension by the entities will be described in the Machine Elf Encyclopedia that I'll publish soon. Reading it should be a reminder and a guide as to how to conduct yourself in a daily life to stay in a higher vibrational frequency, in the same way as reading the Bible should give you a moral compass as to how to live your life. The concept of regular prayer as means of communicating with God was presented to me in almost the same way as Christians do it. I was told that regularly getting in touch with the energy and your higher self and verbalizing your wishes and plans is an important element of manifesting your reality and raising your frequency. Also, the idea that when we leave this reality and end up in heaven is very similar to what I experienced in psychedelic states. The dimensions I visited in my transcendental journeys were filled with careless pleasure and divine joy and can be easily described as angelic paradise. Irrespectively of whether you believe in a religious God or the metaphysical energy, it is important for you to keep in mind that this omnipresent force manifests itself in love, harmony, and beauty of this world. Those who are capable of reaching and staying in higher states of consciousness do it by liberating themselves from selfishness, negativity, and low vibrational frequency of this reality, and they use God or the energy to do so. The power of faith lays not in being forgiven, but in its ability to empower you. God doesn't want you to love Him. He wants you to love each other and to see others through the lens of divinity. Don't let religions divide you, but let your spirituality unite you, as we are all spiritual beings, currently undergoing a human experience. Let God be the connection we all so desperately need. Do what is good and right, no matter what you're being told. Don't let religions make you do what you're being told, no matter what's good and right. God is a verb, not a noun. Religions are a good concept. It's just that we need to start putting it into practice. Love, 434. If you enjoyed this video, please support 434 financially. If you would like to discuss religions or anything else, get in touch with me. All links in the video description. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Visit the websites of the artist and the musician I featured in this video. Leave your email address at news.b434.com. Remember about b434.com and join 434 social media on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and VK. Talk to each other on Telegram, Reddit, and Discord. All links below.